Back in December of 2006, we found out that we were having another child, which would make us a family of 4 children.
And we went just as a field trip with our girls, just to let them see the baby. The lady there that did the sonogram, the technician said, we just need you to go see a specialist. There's something not right. And they wouldn't give us a lot of details. They put us on a really high-powered sonogram machine. And before we left that day, they told us that our baby would have some kind of a genetic disorder. When we got there, he told us that this is misdiagnosed all the time. People don't know what they're looking for. And then he starts this high-powered machine, and he starts zooming in, and he starts zooming in, and he just starts zooming in. And obviously he's seeing something on the screens that he got real quiet. He quit joking around. We didn't really know what was going on. And when he froze the screen, we could see the baby's face and the baby's skull. You could see his shoulders out here, and then you could see there was these large masses. I don't know what to call them. This is a genetic disorder, that there's something chromosomally wrong with this baby. At the very core of his being, there's something missing, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. I mean, there's no hope when they tell you it's a genetic disorder. There's no medicines, there's no procedures, there's no nothing. They're basically telling you God messed up. And on the ride home in the car, the only thing I asked the Lord was, I believe, help my unbelief.
I'm wanting to yell and scream and curse God in the flesh, but I love my Jesus so much that I was able to cast down the flesh at that time, and I finally heard God speak and said, will you just praise me? And that's hard to do when you've been hit with that kind of news.
We heard very clearly that this was our legacy. Tim heard that this was his legacy. At this point, they didn't know that this was a boy. They couldn't tell at 11 weeks. But the Lord told us that day. We knew that this was going to be our son, and that, you know, the enemy was trying to steal him, and that we had to do something about it if we didn't want him to. One of the last things that the Lord told us to do during that time period was to go to the healing room at the Amber Rose conference. The Thursday before the next sonogram, we were able to go to the healing rooms and have some people pray for us. And I had some very sweet ladies pray some amazing scriptures over me and just agree with me totally, completely in unity. They laid hands on me and the baby, and I mean, it was just an amazing time. And then Tim got to pray with a couple that had seen the exact same healing happen in their grandson.
They said, you know, we have a grandchild. That was the exact same thing. They did lay hands on me as well and pray for me, but they prayed in unity. I mean, with everything that God had been speaking in my life, they were right there speaking the same words.
We spent all day Friday trying to decide if the Lord wanted us to attend the next sonogram, which was supposed to be Tuesday. And when we got the confirmation from the Lord that we were supposed to go ahead and go, we really felt like He said, go see your baby. Why not? They're going to show you all kinds of these cool pictures of your baby. Let's go see, you know?
God has come out and said, clearly spoken, I mean, it's clear as day, this is your son. Fight for him, pray for him. And so, when we're going to that doctor's office, I'm going for 2 things. I'm going to see my son and evidence of him, and I want to see him in perfect health.
And by the time Tuesday morning showed up and we were actually going to the sonogram, I was amazed at the victory that we already felt. And we had even discussed that even if we don't see it this sonogram, they're going to do these sonograms every month for the entire pregnancy. We're going to see it. We had our victory no matter what we saw on the screen. They studied everything they could possibly study on that baby. They looked at the lobes in his brain to see if there was areas that were not right. They measured everything they could possibly measure on him. They studied his heart. I mean, it was the longest sonogram I've ever seen. It was the most detailed sonogram I've ever seen. He sat back in his chair and he goes, if I hadn't seen this baby 3 weeks ago, I'd tell you he was normal. And he said, you're having a boy, which we knew that. And finally, by the 7.5 months, they said, you know what, I don't know why you're spending all this time with a specialist. You might as well go back to your OB-GYN, because we can't find anything wrong with this baby. And August 21st, he was born, 5 days past his due date. Yep. Perfectly healthy, 8 pounds, 13 ounces. He's been to the doctor for all his checkups since, they can't find him. He's never behind in any of his development, any of his abilities. He's perfect. And it's so amazing to walk around with a miracle in your arms all the time.
The reward of faith is actually seeing what you believed. And every day I get to see my faith in God through my son.